They're not delivering what they should deliver. Why do they not make it safer for users?
I can do this in 2 minutes. Give me a name, give me an industry, give me where he lives. Be back to you in 2 minutes.
You've got more of an informed decision, not just going on the physical look.
If they haven't got a digital footprint, for a start, run a mile.
In my mind, when someone does that heavily, you're only setting yourself up for a fall when you meet them in real life.
It's not really looking at your values, like your compatibility score. It's not looking at, hey, these are great matches for you. It's like, hey, these bunch of guys liked you, so have a look at them.
Everyone can have a negative opinion of dating apps. Now, the problem is it's not the dating apps themselves, it's the behaviour they've created.
Don't try and be everything to everyone just to get the swipes and the likes. Mr. Right is not just going to pop up as soon as you switch the app on.
I don't know why guys feel the need to put a picture of them holding a fish. God, this man is so bitter and angry. And he even put in there that he was a low-value man. And I went, if you've got that opinion of yourself, then how on earth are you going to meet someone? If you're going to create your profile, you need to have a good combination of photos, and you need to, just show your personality and be original.
Yeah, be you. Everyone else was taken. Dating apps, they're a wild walk in the park, aren't they? 1 minute you're feeling hopeful, the next you're questioning if the person in the photo really means what they say. And somewhere in between all the swiping, you start wondering, is there a better way to do this? And what's actually going on with the algorithm and behind the scenes of the apps? Well, this week on P.S I Love Me, I'm joined by Jo Mason, founder of Cherry Dating, a dating app that recently launched to bring safety, clarity and quality into the online dating experience. Jo's a London city financier who spent years navigating the dating app world herself. She saw the frustration, the fake profiles and the mismatched expectations, and she thought, we can do this better. So she built Cherry with mandatory ID verification, tailored matching based on what you're actually looking for, and even relationship coaching built right in. We get to the crux of how dating app algorithms actually work, what they're designed to do, the power of deal-breaker questions and compatibility matching, and why working on yourself first is really key to finding love. Welcome to P.S I Love Me, Jo. It's great to have you on the show. I can't wait to dive into the world of dating apps, but let's get straight into it. So you're a city slicker working in the world of finance, and you came up with this idea to create a brand new dating app to really shake things up in what's currently out there. What gave you this idea?
First of all, thank you for having me. The idea was literally born out of my own frustrations of being a dating app user for many, many years. And the more I use them, the more I was thinking they're not quite delivering they're not delivering what they should deliver. Ultimately, they're designed for you to connect with people, to meet someone and to have a relationship, but they're kind of counterintuitive when you think about it. So all of the frustrations I was finding, the features, the fake profiles, the ingenuine people that, everyone seemed to portray to be after one thing. And then when you get to know them a little bit more, they're actually after something else. And it just felt exhausting. So all of the functions that I was getting frustrated with, the lack of software that stocked people with fake profiles, for argument's sake, that was one of my biggest bugbears. Fake profiles. Luckily, I've never been scammed, but it is so massive, it's ridiculous. And I kind of thought, why do they not do ID verification? Why do they not make it safer for users? And I just started writing a wish. I call it my wish list. So I just started writing a wish list of all of the features that I would have in an app if I created my own. And then during lockdown, I had a little bit of a, what is my legacy moment. I'm single, I've got no children, I've never been married. I kind of thought, what is my legacy going to be? And I think the entrepreneurial side of me that's kind of runs in my family's blood, I thought, if I don't do it, someone else will. Why not me? And I started to look into how to go about that. And it was very crazy how things fell into place. the minute I thought I'm going to create my own dating app, I was at the gym, not a member of that gym. Another friend of mine was there who I hadn't seen for a long time. He wasn't a member. We started chatting. He connected me to someone else. And it was just like divine intervention that just made that journey to meet the team that I've got seamless. It wasn't an effort. It was really, really strange. So I kind of thought, well, let's just roll with it.
Yeah, so a lockdown baby. There's lots of initiatives and babies that came out of lockdown, wasn't there? When people had a bit more time to really think and embellish their creativity as well, when they normally don't have time running around doing their everyday life.
I think lockdown had a lot to do with it. I would say you did. It was very solace time, wasn't it? So,
yeah, a time of reflection. So what was on your list when you were writing that list of what this ideal app would look like? What was on your hit list?
So I know we shouldn't have a checklist when we're trying to meet our person, because it doesn't always mean that they're going to be the person for you. But there's certain fundamentals, that you do or don't want in a relationship or a partner. You've got your interests, your love languages, and other bits and pieces like that. So I kind of just went back and thought, right, okay, ID verification is an absolute non-negotiable for me. Because the minute I was getting onto the dating apps, I was finding that I was instantly guarded because I wasn't 100% sure that they were genuinely who they say they were. And I had so many situations where I'd start chatting to someone, I'd go, he's nice. Anyway, I'd send, it was a bit of an ongoing joke with me and a friend. I used to send her a picture and go, right, who is this person? And she used to go searching on the internet. And within like half an hour, she'd be back with, oh, Joe, no, been that one. He was the bachelor in the US in whatever year. So it's been that one, not real. And, and it went on like that. So before you realize it, you're spending more time trying to work out the person's real than whether or not you want to get to know them.
No, it's so true, because I am that person with my friends as well. I actually have like a 2 minutes. I can do this in 2 minutes. Give me a name, give me an industry, give me where he lives. Be back to you in 2 minutes. LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, digital profile. If they haven't got a digital footprint for a start, run a mile.
Yeah.
And you're right. It shouldn't be that way. And I know Hinge and Bumble have the verifications now, but I don't think it's mandatory yet, is it? It's still just an option. The blue tick, isn't it? The blue tick is similar to Instagram profiles as well. But so with cherry dating, it's 100% mandatory.
Yeah, it's with the others, it's not mandatory. And also, frustratingly enough, they've only introduced that probably in the last year, 18 months. Whereas kind of I had that on my non-negotiable list in 2021, and I was like, it's just the timing of it. We were like, get in there quicker. But it is what it is, but it's 100% mandatory. So every profile on there has to be, and the way the ID verification works is you upload your photo ID, passport or driving license. You take a selfie against that photo ID, similar to what you would be doing if you were enrolling in a banking app.
Yeah. So with your banking finance experience comes into this.
So we use the same partners as banking apps do. So we use a company called Onfido. And then the selfie that you take gets cross-referenced to the photos you upload. So the selfies don't get uploaded. You upload your own photos, but then it's verified against the selfie. So it's technically three-way verification. So that way you can feel 100% comfortable that the person you're talking to is 100% genuine. And hopefully by having the ID verification and the personal details on there, that's going to discourage people from wanting to scam people out of money, and just to be ingenuine. It's so that was one of my main USPs. The other feature that we've got on the app is the vibes. So everyone goes on there for a different reason. It could be you're looking for something meaningful. It could be looking for casual fun. You could be, I'm actually not sure what I'm looking for. So the way we've designed the app is you set your intention at the beginning. If you're looking for meaningful, you select meaningful, and that drops you into like a different funnel of questions than if it was casual fun or go with the flow. So the more meaningful, the meaningful option is going to go into more in-depth questions than casual fun, because, you just don't need to know that detail about someone. So it was setting the true intention at the very, very beginning that I wanted to be clear, so that people didn't have that they're chatting over a 6-week period, and actually this one's only after a one-night stand, but this one's looking for a long-term relationship. And you've wasted 6 weeks. And you may have passed someone else up that was potentially looking for something similar to you.
And it's really hard, isn't it? Because I know there's guys and girls out there that put, they want something meaningful or they want a long-term relationship. And when push comes to shove, that's not what they're really into. But they know that's going to get people interested. Oh, I'm committed, I'm trustworthy, I'm loyal, all the good stuff there. And it's not until you actually get into the dating and meet someone is to find out if their actions meet their words. So, but I love what you do with the meaningful. It's not like, hey, tick, want to get married or long-term relationship or casual sex or yada, yada, yada. It has more meaning to it and say, yeah, let's go with the flow. And that can mean either or, can't it? Go with the flow. Let's explore whether this could be an ideal partnership. So yeah, I love what you're doing with that. And what about things like values? Is there, because I find, with the Evolve Woman program, I get really specific with my clients in terms of what do you actually want in a relationship? Because there's a lot of the tick list. Oh, I want someone ambitious, financially stable. It's all kind of like, it can be quite superficial, and what society expects, what their family expects, what the community expects, what looks good on Instagram on their arm, eye candy, all that stuff. But when you really strip back and you look at what in your heart and your gut will feel good for you in a relationship, and that's where we get super specific. And it can be, looking at love languages, it's looking at values, it's looking at interests, like what are your top 3 or 4? And quite often they get surprised by what their top 3 or 4 are through this framework we do. So what do you offer in terms of the values and the interests?
So when you're doing your onboarding process and you've selected whichever vibe you want to go for, so let's say we'll go for the meaningful, you are asked a set of questions about yourself, and then you fill out a set of questions about what you're looking for in a partner. Now, in those questions, you've got love languages, because I think they're very important. You could have someone that's love language is giving gifts, but the other person's love language is quality time. And you just might want to spend time with that person, not get showered in gifts. But if you're not getting the time, but you're just getting the gifts, then it's just so unaligned.
Yeah.
So
brilliant.
We've got that question in there. We've got values in there. We've got interests. And you basically fill out the whole onboarding process about what you're looking for and about yourself. And then at the end, when you see other profiles within the app, you're given a compatibility scoring. So you get to see a guy and you think, I'm not sure physically whether he's my cup of tea, but you might be 90% compatible. But you're actually going to give him a second look and go, oh, actually, we're matching in interests, values, and personalities. Because further down the app, it will give you red line, and it will be low if it's values, and it just gauges which section you're more aligned in. So you can therefore you've got more of an informed decision, not just going on the physical look. And I just think that's really important.
Yeah, no, I love that. Love languages is so important. I mean, my number one love language is physical touch, affection. And I was once with someone before my current partner, and yeah, he wasn't that tactile, especially in public. He never hold hands in public. And I'm like the opposite. I need the touch. And I found that really, really difficult. Whereas he was more acts of service. It's fascinating, and it has to work. And also understanding what your love language is to give and also to receive, because they can also be different as well. And So you go through all of these stages on the onboarding, and then you get the compatibility score. So you go through all of those processes, and tell me a bit about the algorithm and the behavior, because I've got loads of questions on this. What's going on behind the scenes of the dating apps? How do they really work? So is it like, because some apps I know, like the more you use them, the more you swipe, the more you message, it shows that you're more active. I mean, certainly for social media platforms, and it will prioritize you above everyone else. Is that the way dating apps work, or the way your app works?
So not with the likes of Hinge, Bumble, Tinder, etc., they work on a ranked system, and it's based on predicted desirability and the likelihood of you interacting. But your that scoring is based on how many people have liked your profile, how much time someone spent on your profile, how many interactions you've had. And if you've not liked a lot of profiles, because that's just, you don't want to swipe all the time, yes, you want to be more picky with who you're swiping with, then it could end up by default ranking you lower because you're not saying yes to loads of profiles. So it's kind of, it's not a great, in my mind, it's taking the power out of your hands. It's just, oh well, you've not had many likes, so we're going to downgrade you. So you're therefore stuck in this loop, because the less likes you get, the less interactions you have, the lower you go down. So I would say if people are struggling and then they're not getting, they've been on apps for a while and they're not getting the results they want, it may be as simple as delete your app, delete your profile, give it a week, and then recreate a new one.
Yeah, it's counterintuitive, isn't it? If you're in that cycle of
Yeah, it just kind of breaks that cycle, and therefore you can go back on there and hopefully it will give you a fresh, it will refresh, it will restart for you.
yeah. And I know on some apps like Bumble, if I remember rightly, you can, if you upgrade to premium, you can see all the people who have already liked you. Um, and you will only like people from that pool versus the bigger pool. What do you think about that? And how does Cherry work?
So on the Bumble thing, I know this sounds terrible, but I very rarely pay for the premium. Because I've noticed that I don't feel it doesn't add much to me, and it's expensive. It is expensive, let's be fair. So I don't, if I see people who like me, I might be more inclined to swipe yes. But sometimes it also goes, I think, gosh, really? You know, why am I feeling like these people aren't aligned to me, and you can also almost get a little bit disappointed
Mm,
because the people that are there that have liked you aren't kind of necessarily who you like back.
yeah, exactly. It's not really looking at your values, like your compatibility score. It's not looking at, hey, these are great matches for you. It's like, hey, these bunch of guys liked you, so have a look at them. It's not really looking at, are they compatible or not, based on your behavior.
Yeah. So it can be a bit disappointing in that sense when you can see who's liked you. But also, I mean, for Cherry, we don't work on that algorithm at all. So the only thing that's stopping you from seeing another profile is is your deal breakers. And we haven't got a huge amount in there at the moment. We are introducing more when we upgrade our premium features. But at the moment it's gender and age and location. And they're basically the main three. And then other than that, you will see all of those profiles. You will be given the higher scoring compatibilities first. And then obviously when you've run out of those swipes, it will go down further down the list. But it's not done by who's liked you more. It's purely done on the scoring of the two profiles and the deal breakers you've put in. So we're introducing deal breakers when we upgrade to our premium features, and it'll be like smoking or drinking. Because if you don't want to, if you're a non-smoker and you don't want to be in a relationship with a smoker, because some people are quite, I don't want someone that smokes, then you can put that down as a deal breaker. And then therefore you're not going to get shown those profiles.
If you love P.S. I Love Me and want to dive in deeper, then join the Evolve Woman, my 8-week online coaching program, which will take you on a transformative journey of self-discovery, fulfillment, and to find the joy and love you so deserve. Check out my Instagram, Lynda Williams Coach, to find out more. Now, AI and images. It's all so obvious when people have got their profile pics done through AI. I mean, it is to me, because it can be a collage of normal pictures hiking or having a beer with your mate, and then all of a sudden there's like the city background with like the perfect like tan skin and the crisp white shirt. How do we get through all of that? Because AI is scary, right? It's gone like gangbusters over the last year. I mean, God knows what's next. I've heard that Elon Musk has shut down his 2 Tesla factories to build robots. I mean, God help us. But how do we get around that on dating apps when it comes to the verification? Obviously, do the passport, do the selfie. But then when they get into the app, is there a way that you can tell where they're all blooming AI pictures and they're just totting themselves up looking like someone completely different or 20 years younger?
I mean, that's always a bit tricky. It is a bit tricky. I mean, you can have, and I've seen my software reject people's selfies because they don't look like their passport photo.
Yeah.
So if that has happened, it says selfie not, the similarity is not the same. So it will reject them and it won't let them get on the app. And sometimes you think, oh my God, if your passport's that far out of date and you're that different from it, and they can't get on, which is not ideal, because obviously I need to try and get as many users on the platform as I can. However, it does also lend to the fact that the catfishing, the profile similarity not being the same. I mean, everyone will filter their profiles pictures.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course.
Everyone wants to put themselves in a really good light. But in my mind, when someone does that heavily, you're only setting yourself up for a fall when you meet them in real life.
I agree. You're wasting everyone's time, including your own.
Yeah. I mean, why would you do that to yourself? Because you literally almost setting yourself up for rejection. You almost kind of want to put your worst photos on, because when you do actually meet them in person, they're massively surprised and pleased, So
yeah, it's so interesting you say that. So with regards to image selection, like what images to put on your app. So I started first using the app. So I'm 45 this year. I started first using them when after my divorce. So in my early 30s. So we're probably looking at 13 years ago. I was so naive. Oh my goodness. So I met my ex-husband when I was 21. We split up when I was 32. So I'd never used obviously the apps before then. I was very naive. I believe, I always believe the best in people, but now I've got my head screwed on. But I was just so naive on the dating apps. And I used to put, I worked in PR back then, and, that kind of lifestyle and the parties and the events led me to have that, that image. I was always well dressed, hair and makeup done, looking fancy. And it was interesting how putting all your fancy party girl pictures on attracts a certain type of vibe. The guy who wants, that kind of arm candy or that kind of fun. And then after a couple of years and trying and testing it, I actually took all those off, and it was me wake surfing. It was me hiking. Most of them I didn't have much makeup on. So I completely switch the vibe, because it's natural to go, let's look at all my best pictures, corporate profile shots, me with the girls, looking my best. But actually your real pictures paint a picture of who you are, like what your interests are. laughing, smiling, getting stuck into your tennis or wake surfing or hiking. Like, it just shows more personality and who the real person is, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, with Cherry, you have to have two pictures that are just of yourself. And then the rest you can have with people. It can be you climbing a mountain, it can be you in the sea, whatever, but you have to have two just of your own, because I don't know whether you've found this when you're on dating apps and you get a picture and you think, which one are you? It's a group of guys and you're like trying to, then you scroll through to the next photo, trying to work out
I know, it's
which
like,
one he actually is. Yeah.
what do we have here? All right, let's have a look. Oh, let's have a quick look on LinkedIn. Oh no.
Yeah. And another thing, I don't know why guys feel the need to put a picture of them holding a fish.
Oh, the fish thing. And
What is that?
tiger thing used to be a thing as well. Awful.
I just don't get it. The bigger the fish, that's an automatic no for me. The minute I see a guy with a profile of a fish in his hand, it's a no. I just don't get it. So no.
No. And the favorite thing to do on a Sunday is always go for a hike and cook a roast Sunday lunch. Oh my God. So original.
I think if you're going to create your profile, you need to have a good combination of photos and you need to, just show your personality and be original.
Yeah, be you. Everyone else is taken, right? So, and don't be afraid. Again, this is what I coach my clients with as well. Like, don't be afraid to say what you really want. Don't try and be everything to everyone just to get the swipes and the likes. Be intentional in terms of what you're looking for in a relationship. Be out there with what you don't want, what you won't compromise on, and what your interests are, what you like to get up to. I think I love the love languages as well, and the other
Yeah, I mean,
options that you have on your app.
for dating with intentions, it's strange because a friend of mine, I mean, this is going back about 10 years, I think now. She rang me up. She went, Jo, which is the best dating app to get on? And I was like, oh gosh, right, okay. So I gave her like a few examples, and she was so intentional with what she put on her profile. She's done a lot of self-development. She's very in tune with herself. So she was massively intentional and clear about what she wanted. And I think she'd met someone within a week and ended up marrying him. I mean, they're not together now, but they literally, it was everything she wanted at that moment in time. And she was massively clear, massively intentional about what she was looking for. And I think there's got to be a lot said for that.
I do have a lot of people come to me and they say, oh, Lynda, I am just so exhausted with the dating apps, right? Because they are a wild walk in the park, but you've also got to manage your expectations. Like, if you walk through a stadium of 100,000 people, right, that's going to feel overwhelming as well. Like, Mr. Right is not just going to pop up as soon as you switch the app on. It doesn't work like that. Yeah, some people get lucky and they meet the love of their life on the first day. And let's be real, I think it's over 60% of people now meet on the dating app, if I'm not wrong, right? So it's the real place. It's the most popular place due to how our society has developed. We're not as connected in real life anymore due to a plethora of reasons, but it is the way that people meet, number one. But number two, it's how you approach dating apps so you don't become exhausted and downhearted. And when someone ghosts you or breadcrumbs you or love bombs you and you just throw it in with the rest of them, all men are shit, dating apps are crap, and then you're done and then you're off the apps for 6 months. What advice, and I'd love to chat about this because I coach my clients on this as well, but what advice do you give to people when they're starting using dating apps?
So I would say, first of all, I mean, I think everyone can have a negative opinion of dating apps. Now, the problem is it's not the dating apps themselves, it's the behaviour they've created. And social media has created that. They're just as guilty. So the fact that there's this everyone's impatient. Everyone's got everything at their fingertips. So they think that actually it applies to a relationship in a man or a woman, and that's not the case. It doesn't happen the minute you load the app up. You don't meet your person there and then. So I think people have got very impatient. They've become very throwaway. Oh, next. A slight bit of, oh, that's not working out. There was a few flags I wasn't keen on. Next. And they know that there's just this potential endless cycle of people on the dating apps that means that they don't have to put the effort in. And when you do meet someone and you do get ghosted and the breadcrumbs of the love bombing and all the rest of it, and all of which have happened to me, might I add, I would just say be 100% comfortable in yourself. Know who you truly are, because that behaviour towards you actually says more about them than it does about you.
100%. And you're so right in terms of working on your own self-worth, your values, what you really deserve. So you don't end up in situations or situationships, as we call it these days, where not really into you. You're hoping maybe in a month's time he will finally choose you. But when you have the self-worth and you know your own values, what you're bringing to the world, to the relationship, what you will and won't compromise on, what is a red flag and what isn't a red flag, what you're being triggered by from previous relationships. So it's actually not a red flag. Once you get super clear on all of that, then you can date with more intent, but also a bit of a cloak of resilience too, because you need to have a bit of a cloak.
You need to have skin like a rhino. Honestly, that's just not on dating apps. People can be, I mean, I had someone email me the other day, a user, and he was so angry and bitter. And he just literally vented saying, oh, just another dating app, da, 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 and just vented a load of stuff at me. Of which none of it was actually true when you look at Cherry and the way it works. He said, oh, costly subscription, we don't charge. All of these things he put in this email, and I just looked at it. And I mean, it does affect me personally when I get that.
Yeah, it's your baby, you're bound to.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God, this man is so bitter and angry. And he even put in there that he was a low value man. And I went, if you've got that opinion of yourself, then how on earth are you going to meet someone? And I kind of went back to him and I said, look, I've been in your position after some terrible relationships where I needed to actually pick myself back up, do the work on myself, put myself where I needed to be. And I wouldn't have a relationship until I was in that space. And then I just got back, oh, well, I haven't got the finances to do that. And I was like, okay, I can give you the advice, but if you're not willing to take it, then there's not much I can do. But you can't expect to have a relationship. You can't blame the apps. You can't blame society. If you're actually that aggressive, that angry, and that bitter, how are you going to have a relationship? It's just not going to happen.
And I think managing expectations early on as well is really important. And what I always say is going to a date, obviously, in a public place, cup of coffee I always say don't go out for a full-on dinner with someone. Walk in a public park or a cup of coffee with somebody. It's like the pre-date to the first date. But go in with an open mind. You're meeting another human being. You may learn something about them, a topic or an industry that they work in that you didn't really know anything about. You'll come away learning something. And you'll also pick up what you do and you don't want. If they're not right for you or you're not right for them, that's fine. But you'll learn something, and that's how you fine-tune what you really want as well. And I always say, again, treat everyone as you want to be treated yourself. And I've had a couple of ladies come to me. It's like, oh, well, what happens if I go out on a date and I'm not really into them? Well, you can communicate with them in a healthy way after the date. Hey, it was really nice to meet you. Thank you so much for the coffee. It's just not what I'm looking for, but I wanted to be really honest and let you know so you can open up your map of the world and meet someone who's right for you. And it's just communicating in that healthy, loving way, like, respect their time. They made an effort. They came out to meet you. Yeah, they're not right for you, but be a good human being. And I think we need more of that in dating apps today.
100%. It's the culture that has actually damaged the reputation of them. That, like you say, just have that open and honest communication. I went out on a date the other week, and I had a few little I call them amber flags before I went out, because his communication style wasn't the same as mine. And he was taking 24 to 48 hours to reply to one message. And I'm thinking, no one is that busy. I'm a busy person. I mean, I work full time. I'm running the app on the side, and I'm trying to get to the gym. I'm trying to do this. If I can find the time in my day to respond to you, but you can't to me, then I kind of felt like, yeah, a little bit of an amber flag. However, he seemed a really nice guy. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to go out and meet you anyway. Went out, had a nice time with him. We chatted loads, but again, I knew I had this communication style I thought just isn't going to work for me. And there was a couple of other things that he said on the date, and I thought, not really quite sure I agree with that. But I let him. He messaged the next day, said, "Would you like to go out again?" And I kind of thought, you know what? No, I don't. I don't want to go out again. So I replied and said, "Sorry, not the connection I was looking for. Hope you find someone," and wished him well. But if everyone did that, everyone would know where they stand. It's that ghosting, not knowing what you've said. Did I do something wrong? Was it something I said? Was it how I looked? All of these things you sit and internalize, that self-talk internally after you've been on a date, if you just don't know what they were feeling. And another thing I've kind of learned, it's normally our expectations that let us down and not the person.
And I think if you're chatting to someone, well, yes, I think the same. What are your interests? And it's like, yes, me too. Yes, me too. Yes, me too. And are they really into the same things as you? Do they really have the same values? And you only really know that until you meet someone. And that's why I always say, try and video call as soon as you can. You can get a lot from someone's tonality and the facial expressions about who they really are. And again, talking about ChatGPT and Claude AI, whichever AI platform you use, I know some people use that to respond, but you can quickly cut to the chase by just having a quick chat on the phone right before that first date. It's like, are they who they say they are? But and managing those expectations. Don't get away in fairyland of like, oh, he's going to whisk me off my feet and marriage and moving in together and swanky holidays in Europe. It's like, slow and steady wins the race. But you're right. I think when it comes, we're talking about options these days. Dating apps can be a bit of like a production product line. And for people in relationships as well. Things aren't going so well at the moment. Let's see what's out there. I need my ego boosting. Let's just have a little look, see what's on the shelf today, shall we? And instead of the relationship itself, because when you're in a relationship, you need to work at that. No one's 100% perfect. Life happens, issues come up. And it's up to you to put the mileage in and the work in. And if you've got that same grounding and base, then it's going to work. But I have seen that where people use apps to boost their ego, to do a bit of window shopping. They may start chatting to people when they're actually not available. May even go out on a first date whilst they're in a relationship just to see what's out there, and then they'll retreat back into their relationship. So it's a tricky platform. They are tricky platforms, but I think when they are used well, they're brilliant. I mean, I met my partner on Hinge, and he's the love of my life. And I would never have met him, right? We're very, very similar in some ways, very different in other ways. But if it wasn't for the dating platform, I would never have met him. I mean, I live in a tiny village. How else would I have met him? So It's really fascinating.
No, and they do work, but they just got to be, I think everyone has to go in with their eyes completely open and realize that they are a platform to connect with people. And as much as the current, I mean, if you think about it, the business model of a dating app is actually not to make you meet someone and delete the app and come off. I mean, that's the thing. They want their users to stay on board, which actually is kind of counterintuitive to what you're trying to do. Um, so, kind of with Cherry, I've always maintained that I want someone to come on. I want them to have a nice experience, a positive experience, meet someone, and then move on. And that in itself would be the validation that I would need. And if they had a positive experience, they'd tell their friends, and then the cycle keeps going.
So what's next for Cherry? You said you're launching some premium features soon.
Yes, so we don't charge users at the moment, which obviously from a business perspective is not something that you can carry on doing forever. So we have got to introduce premium features. The bog standard matching messaging will stay the same and it won't be charged for, but we're bringing in deal breakers, and the usual back swipes, see who's liked you, other bits and pieces. And I also want to introduce some sort of webinar coaching type scenarios, because as you well know, we've got the coaching directory on the app, whereby having been through an experience myself of two very damaging relationships, and needing to work on myself and get myself in a healthy space, I couldn't be in a relationship until I was happy in myself. I put the coaching directories on there because I know I'm not the only one that struggles. So having the coaching directory on there is giving people that, someone to reach out to if they want to. So I want to start introducing webinars and stuff like that, coaching tips, all bits and pieces like that to help people on their journey. And that'd be part of the premium features as well.
Oh, I love it. It feels just a way more wholesome, rounded dating experience. And the coaching, I mean, with the Evolve Woman program, as you know, towards the end of the program, when my clients are going out on dates, they're like, oh my God, I feel so different. I don't feel drained. I feel energized. I'm approaching it with a completely different mindset. I know what I want. I know what I deserve. And it's just, you attract such different energies and profile when you're in the right space, don't you?
Yeah. And it's knowing that your repetitive behavior and getting out and getting away from it. If that repetitive behavior is not working for you because you're attracting the love bombers or the not intentional daters and all of that, because if you want that external validation, you want that quick, oh, I'm going out on another date, but actually it becomes less fulfilling further down the line. I just feel that having this platform there just helps you potentially recognize bad behavior in yourself and wanting to change it and to be better.
So where can we find more information out about Cherry Dating, and how do we sign up? How do my clients sign up?
We are on both Google and Apple. If you search Cherry Dating in both the platforms, it should come up. We also have a website, which is www.cherrydating.co.uk. So you can find us there as well. And then the links to the app stores and Android, Google Play will be in there.
Yeah, super. We will go and check it out. Now, as we wrap up, if there's something that you want to leave my audience with, one thing about how they should approach dating on apps, what would that be?
Be 100% clear about your intentions and be 100% comfortable within yourself. And if you feel like you still need to do some work on yourself, do that first before diving into dating apps or any sort of dating. Because if you aren't truly 100% happy and comfortable in yourself, you're not going to have that fulfilling relationship, because you're going to be looking for that external validation rather than thinking, I'm completely comfortable with who I am. And you will then attract like-minded.
Yeah. You are what you attract.
Yeah.
Well, Jo, thank you so much for coming on P.S. I Love Me. It's been so insightful into the world of dating apps. I'm sure everyone will learn some new nuggets and tips and tricks on how to navigate apps in the future. Really looking forward to seeing how the app grows. Do you think you'll be giving up your day job anytime soon?
I would love to give my day, well, I shouldn't say that, should I? I'd love to give my day job up eventually. I do. I'm lucky. I do enjoy my job. However, Cherry was Cherry's my kind of pension. Let's put it that way. I want to be able to focus on it 100%, and move away from corporate. But until it's in that position for me to be able to financially do that, then I'll carry on juggling the two.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, I can't wait to see it evolve and soar, because I just think how you've designed the app with its values, with its proposition, I think it's going to do really well. So all the best with that.
Thank you.
That's it for today's episode of P.S. I Love Me. I hope you've learned some interesting nuggets to weave into your everyday life to feel a little lighter, brighter, and inspired. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It helps more high-achieving women like yourselves to find us. And don't forget, wherever you are at in life, you are more than enough.